Speaking of you being true to yourself, something that really stood out to me about the psychology of everything you talk about is s- I'll go ahead and just read two short passages from your book that express what I'm getting at. So you wrote, as much as cult indoctrination attempts to destroy and suppress the old identity and empower the new one, it almost never totally succeeds. Good experiences and positive memories rarely disappear entirely. The cult identity will try to bury former reference points and submerge the person's past, yet over time, the old self will eventually exert itself and seek ways to regain freedom. And this process is speeded up by positive exposure to non members and the accumulation of bad experiences the person has while in the group. And then you say the real identity, deep down, the hardware self beneath the mind control virus, sees and records contradictions, questions, and disillusioning experiences. And if there is much in this book, especially the chapter on courageous survivor stories, but there's much that offers hope. As much as you emphasize that we're all vulnerable to mind control, there is so much room for hope here. And this is one of them. You know, the idea that as thoroughly controlled and programmed as a person may be, their authentic self, the real them, is still in there. And something that I thought was so beautiful about your story of deprogramming, as you put it, or exiting the cult, was that it seemed by my read that what initially cracked the edifice of the defenses that the cult had put in place for you was witnessing your father cry for only the second time in your whole life.
True.
And that was really powerful to me because it was like, wow, like your father's genuine emotion there was what sort of reached in past all of that programming and grabbed the hand of his real son
Yep.
and began to
And he
pull him.
asked me to step into his shoes, and how would I feel if it was my son who met a group that was controversial and disappeared from your life, didn't show up for holidays or birthdays or Father's Days? How would you feel? And the tear, and I was like, I would feel like you're feeling. And then my cult self said, oh, but he's been brainwashed by the communist media against father. But then my real self was like, what can I do to put you out of pain, Dad? To reassure you. He said, I just want you to hear the other side. And if you want to go back at the end of 5 days, I'll drive you there myself. But at least your mother and I will be able to sleep at night, knowing we did the responsible thing. And with that, I was like, I want to prove that I'm not in a cult, because to allay their fears, they've been worrying for no reason. And damn, I had to put my tail between my legs and cried for 3 hours when I realized it really wasn't a cult. I was really gone.